Hey Terminids, I come bearing the good news of God. He's got a message for you. Bask in the light of that 12 burger. Ladies and gentlemen, you want to know how to take over discourse in the video game industry? Get everyone united under the same banner of spreading some good old-fashioned democracy. When I first saw Helldivers 2, I wasn't interested at all, because I'm not really a co-op shooter type of guy. I'm a single-player guy that dabbles in Fortnite from time to time. And I thought, oh, that looks like it'll be a fun time to those who like that stuff, but I'll probably pass on that. But then as launch got closer, and eventually the release happened, I felt more and more drawn to it, like a moth to a flame. And I finally got it, and played with the boys, and oh sweet liberty. It didn't take me long to realize that Helldivers 2 is a special game. I am absolutely blown away, both figuratively and literally, at just how great this game does everything. Addicting gameplay, jaw-dropping environments, and the dictionary definition of the word epic. Couple that with campy humor that somehow never gets annoying, and a modern-day live service progression system that isn't predatory or grindy, and don't forget, the memes. I don't remember having this much fun in a multiplayer game in a very long time. And once I'm done recording this audio, I'm gonna go play it some more because democracy isn't gonna spread itself, you know. It's time to take a shot every time I say democracy. And Helldivers 2 is so damn good that it can't even handle the weight of its own success. Now, let me address this off the bat. The server issues were a problem. A big problem. And I also ran into some bugs and glitches in some of my playthroughs, which is something that needs to be mentioned. The first few days, I spent more time in the queue than I did playing. They fixed it recently, upping the space to 700,000, and I've been getting in fine now. But you can't mention this game without bringing that up. You just can't. But aside from that, for any other game, we would be crapping all over the fact that the servers aren't big enough. Remember Era 37? But Helldivers 2 is so good that the server capacity problems have been treated as a meme. When people say, we're not waiting in a queue, and it said, we are in the reserves, gentlemen, which is a real thing I heard, that tells you all you need to know. The fact that nobody seems to really get mad about it. But exactly what about Helldivers 2 allowed it to catch fire like this? Why is it so addicting to play? And most importantly, what makes Helldivers 2 special? Well, time to join the fight for freedom, gentlemen. So strap in, boys and girls, and let's get down to business. I think it's pretty clear that, in my mind, Helldivers 2 is the third wake-up call for the video game industry. Because recently there's been so much discourse about the fact that gaming is dying, but over the last 3 years, we have had 3 of these so-called wake-up calls. Elden Ring completely redefined what the meaning of great open-world games can be, Baldur's Gate 3 gave new meaning to freedom in RPGs, and Helldivers 2 shows that game developers don't need massive $300 million budgets or subsidies from the Singaporean government. Still can't believe that was a real arrangement. And they certainly don't need to price their game at $70. All your game needs to do is be a blast, and the rest will fall into place.
That's crazy. I know, it's very hard to believe.
For those of you who didn't see my comment on my Suicide Squad video, as soon as I uploaded it, I went to the PlayStation Store and bought Helldivers 2 and Persona 4 Golden, because I needed something to wipe that experience from my mind. Those 2 games cost a combined $60, $10 less than the soulless, failed trend chaser that was the last piece of shit I played, or the first quadruple A game, which is only accurate if we're referring to this. And while Persona 4 is an amazing game, I was having a massive dilemma every minute I spent playing it, because every minute I spent trying to level up Chie's social link was a minute spent not spreading democracy, goddammit! Females or liberty? I choose liberty. But the fact that such a high quality game is priced much less than the massive big budget AAA titles and completely blows them out of the water in every single category, that speaks to people. Because let me tell you something, Helldivers 2 is better than anything Ubisoft has put out over the last 5 years. Excluding the Lost Crowns. I haven't played that yet, so I'm withholding judgment. So when you have that amazing experience, you can implement a penetration pricing strategy gotta put that diploma to use somehow. You can implement that strategy because all you need is word of mouth to do the rest. And believe me, Helldivers 2 has a lot of word of mouth. But let's be real, that only takes you so far. Helldivers 2 had to actually be that amazing experience first. Turns out, that wasn't really a problem. When you think Helldivers 2, the first word that should come to your mind is epic. You want to feel like you're in a galactic war zone? Well, buddy, you're in luck. For starters, every single planet looks incredible, and the atmosphere of each is straight perfection. For all the planets I played on, I think all but one was covered in some sort of fog or smoke, which truly hammers home the feeling that you are on another planet with its own atmosphere. Like, I don't think you understand how good this is. There's some AAA games that can't even match what Arrowhead was able to do here. And the graphics and art style for this game just hammer that home even more. And there is nothing more cool than just seeing shots of laser bolts coming through fog, and then you slowly start to see the automatons walk through like something out of Star Wars. Or if you see a swarm of Terminids crawling out of green-looking smoke. I can't say enough about how immersive this game is. And everything you see in these clips won't get across the point enough. You have to experience this for yourself. Yeah, Robot Vietnam, that's pretty accurate. And the sound design, oh my god, dude, just listen to this.
Firing orbital barrage. Clear the area.
Guard outpost spotted.
Moments like that separate the great games from the rest. And that's not even mentioning the music. Like, how pumped do you get when you hear the Extraction theme?
Extraction request confirmed. Shuttle inbound.
Also, I played a mission where we had to raise the flags of Super Earth, and while the flags are being raised, there's a drone playing a 1960s patriotic song. That's just awesome. And oh my god, the explosions.
Divers left behind.
You know what? With that, let's talk gameplay. So as a Helldiver, you will be spreading democracy to two separate races, the Terminids and the Automatons, or in better terms, Bugs and Terminators. And you'd think that just two factions of enemies will get boring, but no, because each faction has different enemy types, grunts, bigger bugs, chainsaw boys that take way too long to go down, big ass bug chargers, AT-ATs, and that's just a few of them. It keeps everything fresh, and every enemy has something that should scare you, because the ones that don't have unique attacks will most likely make up for in large numbers. But the game would get repetitive if you're just killing hordes and hordes of enemies, right? So because of this, to keep the gameplay fresh and exciting, Helldivers has a difficulty mechanic where the longer you stay in a mission, the more enemies will spawn until eventually you are completely overwhelmed. Like the panic when you're defending the platform and every enemy and their mother is coming at you from every side is something that's on the same level as Left 4 Dead 2. Aside from your guns, you are armed with stratagems, which are different things you can call down from your destroyers, such as orbital strikes, heavy weapons, defense turrets, and let me tell you something. This system is amazing. In order to activate it, you need to do a Mortal Kombat fatality input before throwing it down, which I thought would get annoying after a while, but it turns out it feels great compared to just your average button mapping. It's like you're actually inputting a code to get your ordnance. When it comes to the orbital strikes themselves, these are what cement the game as truly epic in my eyes, because the explosions with these things are some of the best I've ever seen in gaming. Wiping out entire groups of enemies or outposts in a single strike just feels so damn satisfying. Especially when you see that yellow kill counter on the bottom. Dude, I just got a 22 burger. You bet your ass I'm wearing this on my chest all day. Isn't democracy just majestic? Having one of your friends run an entire train of enemies and then calling down a Gatling gun barrage and wiping them all out, or calling down just the light of God and eviscerating all of them, there's just nothing like it. And the best part about this is that there's no penalty for using the orbital strikes. You don't have a set amount that you can use. They're all on a cooldown. So you can just chuck these babies all day and there's nothing to stop you. Talk about spreading freedom. Now, this might sound pretty messed up, but what if I told you that one of the best things about Helldivers 2 is the fact that you can kill your friends? Yeah, there's friendly fire in this game, and believe me, you will die quickly. Like, all it takes is them running in front of your gun to just drop them instantly. This includes stratagems.
Oh!
Like, I'm still pretty early in the game, but I don't think there's been a single orbital strike type that I haven't killed one of my friends with. And let's be honest, the ragdoll physics here are just hilarious. And don't stand under your friend's supply drops. But this isn't something that really gets you mad because you join back in through Reinforce, which you get a lot of at the start of a mission, which your friends have to throw down. So if you get gangbanged by a horde of bugs, boom, you're back in the fight. Go avenge yourself. Or if one of your teammates calls in extraction before you want to leave, you can end their life and just choose not to reinforce them. Because leaving early will be seen as treason, and I will respond accordingly. Or you could just be a dick. The whole setup of friendly fire actually requires you to communicate with your team. Because, hey, I'm throwing an eagle down in the middle, watch out, back up, back out. Whether that works?
Oh my god!
Everything is just a blast, and while you could play solo, that's kinda hard. And even then, you will not get the full experience unless you play with friends. Because after all, we all have an obligation to spread freedom, and what better way than to spread it together? So, what exactly do the missions of Helldivers 2 entail? There's a lot to unpack here. For starters, every mission will have a time limit. The ones I played were 15 and 40 minutes, for the most part, and each one have main and side objectives, as well as other things to do around the map. Some of the main objectives revolve around destroying terminid eggs, activating missiles, evacuating research facilities, destroying stockpile ammunition, and for your basic 15-minute defense missions, just kill as many undemocratized life forms as you can. There's more types of objectives, and some I haven't even encountered yet, but the fact that I don't know if I've seen everything shows that everything feels fresh, and unlike a certain other game, I can't name everything I can do off the top of my head. Most likely because most of the time I'm trying to create some space between me and the 500 bugs trying to mount me. You can choose to do just the objectives and extract, but around the map you'll find other side objectives and enemy outposts and nests, which the more you do, the more XP, credits, and loot you'll find, including more opportunities for samples, which are used to upgrade your ship module, which give you more effectiveness to the stratagems. Also, while I personally haven't found them, you can also find medals and super credits in the world if you look hard enough. Medals being used for unlocking parts of the battle pass, and super credits being the V-Bucks of this game, which the fact that you can find those in-game is such a breath of fresh air, so you don't have to just cough up real money. The thing to keep in mind with this is that no matter what you do in the mission, you still have a time limit, and once it expires, you can't call down stratagems and you can no longer reinforce your dead teammates. So you don't fail the mission, but it becomes a hell of a lot harder, especially for me since, if you couldn't tell, these are my lifeline. And my teammate's death sentence. And everything picked up in-game from any of your squad mates is shared with everyone. So samples, medals, XP, if you didn't pick it up, it doesn't matter. You still get it. Hey, they all did their part. I didn't do fucking shit! I just so happen to have a motivated god monkey in my squad, so he would tell us to go do the objectives while he soloed bug nests and outposts to get loot for the rest of us. The fact that that's a viable strategy in-game is just perfect, because it really feels like you're a team. And even if you all die before completing extraction, you still complete the mission, you just don't get the added XP for extracting all the Helldivers. I love everything about this, just like my feelings with the game so far. But what cements Helldivers 2 as a truly special game is the humor and the memes. This is a game that does not take itself seriously, if you couldn't tell.
Sweet liberty! Home!
That means everyone can ham it up as much as they want in serious situations, and it never feels out of place.
Freedom never sleeps!
I've been saying it all video. Everyone in this game loves democracy, freedom, and liberty. It runs through their veins, and it now runs through mine.
How about a nice cup of liberty? Have a taste of democracy.
And they won't hesitate to make that known.
Democracy has landed.
The character lines in-game are so good, and the delivery is even better.
Freedom never sleeps.
Side note, the two male voice actors are Yuri Lowenthal and Robbie Daymond. Can this be a line in the next Spider-Man game, please?
Have a taste of democracy.
And the music also adds to this over-the-top nature. I was surprised that this didn't get annoying, because this absolutely can. But it doesn't, because you're not getting bombarded with it every 2 seconds. So it feels like a moment to breathe in the middle of the frantic pace the game could put on you. The fact that the people in-game are so passionate about democracy is the reason it's become a meme, because this spoof of a totalitarian, futuristic society using propaganda to get people to spread their way of life to alien monsters is so absurd that you can't help but laugh with it. Like, my friends and I have said democracy more times in the past 2 weeks than we have in our entire lives. I think I've said it more times in this video than I have in my whole life. Democracy. Alright, there we go. Now we have. Like, it's gotten to the point where in our group chats, instead of saying Helldivers tonight, it's we spreading democracy tonight. This is going to be going on for a while, isn't it? Funny third-person story here. A couple of my friends played with a maxed out level 50 who referred to themselves as the Democracy Officer, and his position was that he was just in it for the medals and credits, and if you go off track, he'd shoot them and just solo everything. It's like, what other game makes people want to do stuff like this? And the various messages that you get on screen, it's okay to take breaks. That is, if you want to be remembered as a coward. The reviews on the Superstore, 1 star. Redacted. Review under investigation for treason.
Who said that? Who the fuck said that?
Bro, a Mass Effect reference. And when you go idle for too long, a timer pops up. Idle hands are a fascist plaything. I love this game. Guys, I think this game is going to be in the conversation for a very long time, because aside from the problems with the servers and the glitches here and there that I'm sure will be ironed out, there is almost nothing about this game to criticize. Now that the server issues seem to be fixed, there is nothing stopping anyone from jumping in and experiencing Helldivers 2. And this is truly a game that you do not want to stop playing. Which, by the way, why have you stopped playing? Pause this video and get back to it. Like I said earlier, democracy's not going to spread itself. What do you do? I haven't enjoyed myself like this in a shooter in a very long time, like I said. And the fact that this is a live service game that's actually good, Arrowhead is just getting started. What's this game gonna look like a few months from now? A year from now? I don't know, but I am stoked and cannot wait for what they got next. We got a true Game of the Year contender on our hands, guys. Helldivers 2 gets a 9.5 out of 10.